What's going on, guys? Back here with the 74 Bronco. Pulled a couple pieces out of the molasses collar for the fuel column. Turned out really good. A little bit of paint on here, but it'll sand up real good. This is the cool thing I want to show you guys. This is the ebrake assembly here, and you know, doing this molasses bath is great, man, because not only does it take the rust out, it actually makes your part usable again. When I took this thing out, put up the truck, I wish I had a picture of how bad it was. I mean, it was completely the color of rust and heavy rust. But taking it out, everything now is moving as it should. You can engage and disengage it. Spring looks good here. You know, so it basically brings it back to its former glory. I'm going to put it back in because some of the heavier scale here, because this is pretty much what the whole thing looked like. You can see how heavy the scale was, and it took, you know, 90% of it off. Some of here and all, but like I said, everything is now moving as it should. So it definitely is worth doing, man, because media blasting is great and all, but it's very hard to get into like the tight areas, like in there, and you know, and all that, and to bring things back. And this is doing it with the molasses on such a in a milder manner by just you know, submerging the whole thing. Obviously, everything's getting saturated with the molasses bath, and it's working as it should. So just about here, I've had this thing in for about 7 days. So it, you know, it needs a, it'll take that off. If you leave it in a lot, sometimes it's good to take them out and, like, you know, move them around and mix up the molasses to get it to the other areas. I guess if it's sitting in one spot, it may not be getting where it should be exactly, you know. But I just wiped it down with a hose for 2 seconds, and this is where we're at, man. This is done. I'm not going to put this back in, but I'm going to resubmerge, like I said, just to get this off, and a couple other spots down here when I come up. But like I said, I'm real happy the way it looks. I mean, the arm here looks like brand new, man. And then I'll just clean it real good with like a grease and wax remover. You see the pieces coming off here, and put some lacquer thinner on it. Probably grease and wax remover again, and then I'll shoot it with some primer. I might sand it a little bit, try to get, because I'm sure some of this residue is still on there from the, you know, the sugar from all the molasses or whatever else is in there. But I've yet to paint anything that I've, you know, soaked in it. So I'm hoping that you know, when I put epoxy on it, it should you know, cure and adhere to the panel right. But I'll let you know if there's any problems. Even the threads here, I mean, they're like brand new, and you know, here you can see the threads are like, before you could only get about 3 turns before it would stop. Now I can get down to the bottom with it. So even for like bolts, what I'm gonna do is I have all the nuts and bolts in baby jars, all labeled. So when I get around to that too, I'm just gonna start throwing them in one at a time. You know, they're all labeled, and pull them back out, or I'll just get like a big container of it and throw them in and just leave them in for a few days, take them out, and save you from having to buy new hardware for, you know, some of the smaller stuff like the interior pieces and all. But obviously for your drivetrain and your suspension, I'm getting all new. You don't want to mess around with that stuff. But it is what it is. I'm getting there, man, slowly but surely. Haven't really had any much more progress on the sheet metal. I was up here fucking around with my crappy welder I bought on Craigslist. I bought another one. I bought a L-Tech welder. Well, it's a turd. I can't get the gas to flow through it, and parts are impossible to find. And also, it was basically $100 I just threw down the drain. I'm gonna see if this guy I know can mess around with it and maybe get it up and running, and I'm just probably gonna dump it. I was just trying to get, like I said, I have my SP170T here, and I also have the SP100. And my dad wants his crap on his car so he can use it when he wants, and I got my stuff here. So I put the tray on the bottom here, had the welder on it, but it was set up to run flux core. It just wasn't running right. It was it kept I don't know, it just wasn't rotating right on the wheel. So I thought it was a drive motor, but the drive motor seems to be engaging and disengaging. So I hooked it up with gas. I put a bigger spool of wire on there, and I sort of had to rig that up too, because the the spool that was on it was this, I think it's in here, this small, crappy spool of flux core wire. Right here was in there. You know, it's got this small diameter hole here. So the you know, the 11 pounder's got a big, you know, shaft about that big. So I used the one off my dad's Lincoln to see if I could get it on there. I just didn't like the way it feeds. I don't like the way it's set up on it because the drive wheel and where the wire feeds is up on top of the welder, whereas the Lincoln's is on the bottom, and the Millers are too. So I just don't like the way it's set up, and I didn't really look at it too well. If I could do it over again, I would have passed on it. So I'm going to stick with the big two, actually big three, Hobart, Lincoln, and Miller. Because parts are available and it's easy to get. So that's where I'm at now. But Bronco's progress is going to start back next week. I'm going to start tearing the passenger side quarter off and some other stuff. But I will have updates for you guys as they come. Sell it all, classic Broncos.